ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। We'll chant Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verses 31 to 35.
स्वधर्ममपि चावेक्ष्य न विकम्पितुमर्हसि धर्म्याधियुद्धात् श्रेयोऽन्यत् क्षत्रियस्य न विद्यते यदृच्छया चोपपन्नं स्वर्गद्वारमपावृतम् सुखिनः क्षत्रियाः पार्थ लभन्ते युद्धमीदृशम् अथ चेत्त्वमिमं धर्म्यं सङ्ग्रामं न करिष्यसि ततः स्वधर्मं कीर्तिं च हित्वा पापमवाप्स्यसि अकीर्तिं चापि भूतानि कथयिष्यन्ति ते व्ययाम् सम्भावितस्य चाकीर्तिः मरणादतिरिच्यते भयाद्रणादु परतं मंस्यन्ते त्वां महारथाः येषां च त्वं बहुमतः भूत्वा यास्यसि लाघवम्.
So far in this chapter 2 of the Bhagavad Gita, we have seen up to shloka number 33. Every chapter is divided into different topics by Swamiji or Guruji to make us get the entire thought flow of the Gita. Remember, the entire Gita is nothing but conversation or discussion between Sri Krishna and Arjuna. Arjuna asks questions, clarifies, then Sri Krishna gives his views, and the Samvada continues like this. So the first 10 shlokas of this chapter was called as Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Arjuna's state of despondency, Arjuna's despondent condition. After getting stressed because of his egoistic approach, he says, I will not fight. And he was putting forth his so-called logic, justifying his stance. And his stance of not fighting continued in this first 10 shlokas. In the 7th shloka, he surrenders to Sri Krishna because he understands that his stance is wrong. He says, I'm confused, so tell me what I should do. He becomes the disciple. Then from verse number 11 till 30, Sri Krishna speaks, and he's been giving explanation about Atma and Anatma. This portion is called Atma Anatma Viveka. From verse 11 to 30, talks about indestructibility of the embodied, indestructibility of our true self. The body, mind, intellect, enlivened by Atma, the self, is our composite personality. In this, the body, mind, intellect are all perishable. They are all ephemeral, transient. They are not permanent. They are impermanent. So therefore, Atma alone is eternal, permanent. So therefore, you got to identify with Atma and function. So he says, from 31 till 40, the third topic in which we are in now, your duty is to act. Understand what is your nature, your swadharma. He says in 31, Arjuna, further looking at your own duty, your own dharma, swadharma. Dharma means nature, swadharma means one's own nature. Dharma also means duty, one's own duty. One's own duty is determined by one's own nature. No. So if I have a certain particular nature, let's say to sing, then it will be better I take into the profession of singing or music, something related to that. So each one should remain in their swadharma. So Arjuna, from your gunas point of view, you are clearly a kshatriya. So being a kshatriya, to defend righteousness, you got to fight. You should not be a warmonger. You should not have the desire to kill anybody. And if you gain this knowledge that Sri Krishna gave, you will not have any desire to kill anybody, and you will also understand that nobody can essentially be killed because everyone is essentially Atma, and Atma cannot be killed. So he says, in one of the shlokas that we saw in the previous topic, Sri Krishna says, one who thinks that he can be killed, one who thinks he can kill, both are fools, he says. So therefore, there won't be any katrutva doership. You will just be doing your duty if you understand this knowledge, identifying with your swadharma. And that's what he's asking Arjuna to do here. Sri Krishna is telling him to do this. Further looking at your own duty, you should not waver. Why are you confused, man? For there is nothing better for a kshatriya than a righteous war. You are not interested in going to the war. But when the unrighteous forces have taken over and it is thrust upon you, you should be able to face the challenges, not run away. So the philosophy is to face the challenge without ego. What we are probably doing is we chicken out, we don't face the challenges with ego. So therefore, Sri Krishna says in the 32nd and 33rd shloka, happy are the kshatriyas, O Partha, who get such a battle. Unsought, that comes unsought as an open door to heaven. When meaning happiness. When you function unselfishly, you gain a lot of punya, which will give you passage to heaven. Some, superior joy experience you go through in such a mind frequency. It's not a state. It is still, it's not a place. It's a state of mind. So he says you will be happy because your dharma is to function like a kshatriya. And you didn't ask for this, but it is being given to you. You just go and function with no ego, then you will be in heaven. And if you will not wage this war, the righteous war, then having abandoned your duty and fail, you will incur sin. So he says, if in case you don't fight this battle, meaning you don't stand up to the challenges thrusted upon you by the unrighteous forces, don't stand up and fight, deliver your duties, then what will happen? You will be incurring sin. Why? Because you have given into your personal discomfort. The problem is not acting or not acting. The problem is, are you acting or not acting out of likes and dislikes? If you act or not act out of likes and dislikes, you will definitely incur vasanas. Technically, when you say sin means vasanas, remember that. You will gather more and more vasanas. You will go far away from the divinity within. Therefore, he says, in fact, in the beginning, first chapter, Arjuna was arguing that if I fight this battle, I will be incurring sin. Why? Because I will be killing these good people. So Sri Krishna is saying the problem is not killing or not killing. Whether you kill or do not kill, is it because you are giving into your personal ego, your pleasures, your likes and dislikes? Then you will have to pay the price for it. Therefore, he says, Arjuna, if you withdraw from this battle because you give into your likes and dislikes, you will be incurring sin. And also, Arjuna is a rajasic person. See, we have studied our mind, everybody's mind is made up of three gunas: sattva, rajas, tamas. Sattva is a state of mind which is balanced, composed, serene, calm. Rajas is a state of mind which is desirous, passionate, agitated, restless, greedy. This is result oriented. This is rajasic mind. Tamasic mind is lazy, lethargic, indolent, heedless to consequence. This is tamasic mind. So now, all of us have all these three. Nobody is exempted. In some, sattva is more, in some, rajas is more, in some, tamas is more. So if sattva is more, you are called sattvic. If rajas is more, you are called rajasic. If tamas is more, you are called tamasic. Now, which category does Arjuna belong to? Arjuna belong to rajasic category. Desirable, greedy, passionate, result oriented, impulsive. So such a person will be interested in name and fame. If you are sattvic, you understand his name and fame and all are temporary, and no fault of yours, they may take away your fame, take away your name. Like Shakespeare beautifully says, he says, reputation is an idol, most false imposition, oft got without merit and lost without deserving it. Meaning, you may not have done anything good, but you somehow got reputation because everybody said, good fellow, he's a good fellow, he's a good fellow. Everybody kept on repeating. That's why he says imposition. Like we write impositions in schools, right? 25 times and come, the teacher will say. So like that repeated, pronunciation of this fellow is good fellow, good fellow, good fellow, like that by everybody. Now, you have got some reputation. And suddenly, no fault of yours, they may start accusing you. And especially you see that in television channels. In the debates in television channels itself, they decide whether you are accused or not. Then why do we have courts and all that? People form opinions, perceptions, isn't it? And even if that fellow is acquitted in the court, these fellows will still continue to say, you in court and all different. Oh, buljhao. He is accused. He's done something wrong. They come to that conclusion. Even if the court acquits that fellow, they will not acquit. They take away the name, fame. It's all frivolous. So Shakespeare says, before you've done anything wrong, it will be taken away. He says, therefore, reputation is an idol, most false imposition, oft got without merit. You might have got it without merit, but lost without deserving it. You did nothing wrong, but you lost it. This a sattvic fellow knows. He will be balanced. He won't get tempted by your name, fame, and all that. He will not work for incentive. He works out of inspiration. You understand? Whereas Rajasic fellow is totally given into desires. He is interested in name, fame, power, position, etc. So therefore, Sri Krishna is now becoming a psychologist also, not just a guru. Using the psychology, he is explaining to Arjuna what he is going to lose. He has value for it. Supposing you are a sattvic fellow, you say you lose your fame. So therefore you should act. Theek hai. Somebody wants to take away my fame, let them take it. I don't care. But a Rajasic fellow, no. For that person, it matters a lot. Name, fame, all this matters a lot. So Sri Krishna is using that to tell him, Arey Baba, you are going, forget about heaven. Arjuna may say, okay, heaven. See, heaven, when we use the word heaven in Shastra, one is when you do desire-ridden actions. You gain what is called as, if the desire-ridden action is good action, you gain what is called as punya. If the desire-ridden actions are selfish, self-centered, negative, then you get what is called as pap. Merits, demerits. Every action, when it is supported by good desire, you will develop punya. If it's supported by selfish, negative desires, pap. Therefore, you have to act desireless, selflessly. But Arjuna is a person, how much ever he is told, he will act only out of desire, being rajasic. So when you act out of desire, but for the welfare of the world, you still have, I want to do something good for the world, so the ego is still there, so therefore you will get punya. What is this punya? The punya merits that you keep on collecting. The Shastras say that when you die, when you go through physical death, because you've collected a lot of punya, you will be given a state of mind in between this death and your next birth. The subtle body is still there, no? So they will be in such state where it will be in happiness. You'll be going through certain experiences. That is all in the happy direction. So they call it as punya. If you have done a lot of path, then all negative you will go through. But having exhausted this punya, what will happen? You will be taking birth again. Then you will continue, this samsara continues. So this is one way of looking at heaven, which Shastra said. The other is, philosophically, when you look at heaven, means a state of mind in which you are happy. So after doing all this, if I will be happy, or after doing all this, I'll collect punya and go to heaven. I don't want all that. I want name now. Shri Krishna says, even now you lose that name. If I don't fight, my friends, my colleagues, the charioteers, all these great warriors, all these people will think that I am a great person because I withdrew from the battle. I will be retaining my name. Sri Krishna says, nothing like that, man. You will lose your name. So even from that angle, it's a loss. So from every angle, it's a loss. Why you want to continue with this attitude? That's the knowledge Sri Krishna is giving to Arjuna. Now let's chant shloka number 34.
अकीर्तिं चापि भूतानि कथयिष्यन्ति ते व्ययाम् सम्भावितस्य च कीर्तिः मरणादतिरिच्यते.
People also will recount your perpetual dishonor. Unto the honored, dishonor is worse than death. So he's telling Arjuna, you are going to lose all the good karma that you did and got a lot of punya, all this good name, fame, all that you are about to lose, man, by this behavior of yours. Chickening out from the battlefield, not delivering your duty as a kshatriya. You will be losing your name and fame. Now, this will definitely hurt a Rajasic fellow. Because his understanding is, by not fighting, saying that they're all good people, I will not fight. By withdrawing, people will think I am a good fellow. But no sensible fellow who thinks correctly will think like that, he says. So therefore, he says, people also will recount your perpetual dishonor. Unto the honored, dishonor is worse than death. Now, death means what? You're physically gone. So in dishonor, physically you are there and you have to live in the society. And a person who is having ego is definitely dependent on the society. So therefore, their opinion about you matters a lot. And when every one of you, everyone other than you, have a certain opinion which is negative about you, you can't take it. It's torture for you mentally. It's a mental torture, worse than death, he says. So therefore, Arjuna, what are you talking about, man? You saying that I will not fight, I will not fight, I will not fight. If you don't fight, if you withdraw, not doing your duty, what will people tell about you? Everything negative. You lose your honor. You are already honored fellow. People respect you a lot. People have a lot of positive things to say about you. Everything you lose. And to the person who is attached to the honor, dishonor is worse than death. Sattvic fellow will not be attached to the honor. You understand? See, there's a story where apparently a Swami was heavily, highly praised by the people who were living around the ashram. And they say, Swamiji, you are such a great person, you are such a great person. We have never seen anybody like you. And he will say, oh, is that so? Is that so? Is that so? And suddenly, no fault of his, they started blaming him for something. And everybody started, oh my God, we thought he's such a good fellow. Oh, he's the worst. We have never seen anybody like him. He's the worst, he's the worst. And they went and told him, you're the worst, you're the worst. He said, oh, is that so? Is that so? See, if you will have your assessment about yourself, You will not fall for other people's opinion. If you understand what is real beauty, and if you will understand that you have those qualifications to be called as beauty or beautiful, then you will not fall for other people's opinion about what is beauty, what is not beauty. Otherwise, you will fall. Same thing in every field. Even in name and fame, it's the same thing. Because you do not have any assessment about yourself, you want somebody else's praise. You fall for it. Flattery, a lot of us fall for. In fact, King Lear falls for flattery only. Shakespeare's play King Lear. He had three daughters, Goneril, Regan, and Cordelia. Goneril and Regan, very negative people, have no interest whatsoever in the father. They both were married. Cordelia was not married and she loved her father. But she's a very straightforward person. She's unmarried. And on his 80th birthday, King Lear wanted to split the kingdom into three and then give it to all three of them. So he called them all and he said, I'm going to do this. So what have you got to say say on my birthday? Goneril is talking, praising the father. She actually hates him. He has no interest in her father. But she's praising him. He falls for the flattery. He says, this is your 1/3. Take it. Second daughter, same thing, Regan. He says, take it. Your 1/3. Then he says, Cordelia, my child, what have you got to say? She is fed up seeing all this, hypocrites and father falling for flattery. So she says, nothing. What? Nothing? And he says, nothing comes for nothing. He says, nothing. I have a divided loyalty because if I get married, I have a divided loyalty between you and my husband-to-be. He says, even before marriage, you're talking about divided loyalty, you're banished. He couldn't hear the truth. He fell for flattery. And then he banished her. And then she got married. The story goes, she married the Prince of France. And then she settled in France. These two girls, they don't take care of the father. He's literally roaming around in his own kingdom as a mad fellow. Cordelia comes to protect him. Both of them die. Now, he has a weakness for flattery. All of us have this problem because we have grudges. We all function on desires. We don't keep aside the desires and independently assess, analyze. If I have assessment about myself, other people's honor or dishonor, how does it matter? That doesn't mean I'll go and do deplorable things to, get dishonor. But I will continue doing what my conscience and conviction says is right. I will not be bothered about honor or dishonor. But Arjuna has this value. So Sri Krishna is using it and telling him, people also will recount your perpetual dishonor, and to the honored, what? Dishonor is worse than death. Death is once. Dishonor is every day you die in front of your people. You die. It hurts your, it's about the value that the society has placed for you. And when you are attached and dependent, it hurts. Therefore, he says it's worse than death. And Arjuna starts slowly reacting. Then Sri Krishna uses it and continues. He says, continue verse number 31.
भयाद्रणादु परतं मंस्यन्ते त्वां महारथाः येषां च त्वं बहुमतः भूत्वा यास्यसि लाघवम्.
Now, supposing generally when Krishna said, and Sri Krishna said generally that people will recount dishonor, maybe, Arjuna might have not reacted so much. So he gets into a little more detail. He says, the great chariot warriors will think that you have withdrawn from the battle out of fear. And you that were highly esteemed by them will be lightly held. Some Tom, Dick, and Harry on the road doesn't have great opinion about you, you may not care that much. But your own colleagues, it matters a lot, isn't it? So he says, the great chariot warriors will think that you have withdrawn from the battle out of fear. They will not think that you took pity out of fear. Seeing Duryodhana, seeing Bhishma, Drona, Karna, you said, I will not fight. That's what they will think. They won't think that, you became emotional, you didn't want to get into this battle and kill such good people. They will not think all this. They'll say, you are afraid. And they'll talk about you that you were a coward. So he says, you that were highly esteemed by them will be lightly held. All of us have some level of peer pressure. All of us have. Oh, I have to go to that party. So I have to be dressed up like them. Otherwise, I won't be accepted in that society. See, a human being should live on his or her convictions, not on other people's dictations. All of us live on other people's dictation, not on our conviction. In many weddings, sometimes when we are invited, we go in this dhoti, kurta, mala. Other fellows are all spending so much of money and wearing all kinds of designer wear and coming, and most of them are wearing such clothes. And when we go in white and white with mala, most of the attention is on us. Though they wanted the attention, we get it. Not that we want it. So, what I'm trying to say is, live on your conviction. Have a goal and set your life according to that. Set a direction and follow that direction. Let the direction be higher so that your life will be qualitatively superior. Otherwise, you have no goal, nothing. You are dependent on the society. You value their opinions. You fall for their flattery. And then you get dejected. You are so tense. Oh, I've got good name. I want to retain this. I just want to be recognized as a good fellow. I just want to be recognized as a good fellow. How can I say no to people? Yeah? If I say no, then they may, they may stop talking to me. So I can't say no. So therefore, all these are weaknesses. We should stand up to our conviction. Arjuna, stand up to your conviction and think about it independently. He says, the great chariot warriors will think that you have withdrawn from the battle out of fear, out of insecurity. So you were afraid, therefore you withdrew. And that will hurt you because you are highly esteemed by them. People have now kept you in such pedestal. Now, what will happen? You will fall in their opinion. And that fall will hurt you, man. That's how Sri Krishna is provoking Arjuna. Next shloka. Shloka number 36.
अवाच्य वादांश बहून् वदिष्यन्ति तवाहिताः निन्दन्तस्तव सामर्थ्यं ततो दुःखतरं नु किम्.
Now he's saying, even your enemies, and your enemies will say many unbecoming words, cavilling your prowess. This is too much for a Kshatriya. To be cavilling about his prowess will be something that a Kshatriya cannot take it. So he says, your enemies will say many unbecoming words, cavilling your prowess. What indeed could be more painful than that, Arjuna? Your prowess is being questioned. You function in such a way that enemies who were afraid of you, all these people who have assembled in front of Arjuna on the battlefield, single-pointedly he's conquered them. Previously, when they were in, after 12 years of their exile, when they were all disguised on the 13th year, Arjuna had to fight all these people. Single-handedly, he's won them. He has the capacity. But all these fellows will be sitting and laughing at you. These fellows who are afraid of you will say many unbecoming words about you. You will not be able to take it, man. They'll be cavilling your prowess. This provocation is too much for Arjuna. For a warrior, for a Kshatriya, it's too much. You would rather go fight and lose the battle, die on the battlefield, than live being questioned, his prowess being questioned. So therefore, he is using that provocation to get him on the right track. What else? What other reason does Sri Krishna have? Just want to get Arjuna on the right track. So he says, and your enemies will say many unbecoming words, cavilling your promise. What indeed could be more painful than that? It's too much. If you see, you talk about, some people get offended if you talk about their family. If you talk about the prowess to a Kshatriya, that's the worst. They will not be able to take it. So Sri Krishna therefore is talking about it. He says, your prowess will be questioned, men. You better get back to action. Next shloka.
हतो वा प्राप्स्यसि स्वर्गम् जित्वा वा भोक्ष्यसे महीम् तस्मादुत्तिष्ठ कौन्तेय युद्धाय कृतनिश्चयः.
Either slain, you will attain heaven. Hato va prapsyasi swargam. Jitva va bhokshyase mahim. If you are victorious, you will enjoy the earth. You will become the king. Meaning your brother will become the king. You will be in the ruling. So therefore he says, either slain, you will attain heaven. Or victorious, you will enjoy the earth. Therefore, arise, O Kaunteya, O Kunti Putra Arjuna, arise. Uttishta, Uttishta. Again and again in many different places in the Gita, Sri Krishna uses this word Uttishta, Uttishta. We have to arise from the tamas and we have to arise from rajas. We have to get on to sattva. Now, he says, you wake up, men. Therefore, arise, O Kaunteya, determined to fight. Yuddhaya krita nishchaya. Make your mind, be firm, be clear in your head that your duty is to act. Wake up. You don't wage the war, these are all the losses. In the present time, you lose your name and fame. In future, you will not get heaven. And you are going to lose your kingdom also. Do you want to do that? He says, instead of that, if you fight the battle, what are all the advantages? On the battlefield, if you die, what you will get? Swargam. Because you fought for everybody else with the desire to save the country. So you will get Swargam. And while fighting, since you are doing your duty, you would have been happy. In case you win the battle, what you will get? You will get the kingdom. And you'll also have the satisfaction that you protected righteousness. So therefore, instead of getting worried about death of your friends and all that, you kill your ego, your personal comforts and all that. Put yourself in the battle. Do your duty. That's all he says. Very famous shloka this is. Ato va prapsyasi swargam jitva va bhokshyase mahim. Tasmad uttishta kaunteya yuddhaya krita nishchaya. See, Sri Krishna is not a person who will talk about kingdom. Sri Krishna is in a level which is much beyond all this. He is not asking to wage this war just to get the kingdom back. Getting the kingdom back is just a byproduct, by the way. and getting the kingdom back gives them an opportunity to serve the public at large. That is the only interest Sri Krishna has. But that's not the interest Arjuna has. When Arjuna was talking about not fighting in the first battle, in the first chapter, he's telling, I will not fight. It's better not to fight. We will be killing them. We're doing sin. And then he says, it's better to go and beg than to fight this battle and kill these noble people. And as he's talking like that, suddenly every now and then he will talk about kingdom. He says, even if we fight this battle and finish off them off, and then we get the kingdom back, our hands will be tainted with blood. So what does it mean? It means Arjuna is clearly interested in the kingdom. Nothing wrong. He's interested in what rightly belongs to him. But Sri Krishna is above all this. But he is using those things to make Arjuna understand even the things that you are interested, which is kingdom, you will get only when you win the battle. So therefore, he says, in this sloka, he's telling Arjuna, if you win, if you're victorious, you'll enjoy the earth. You'll become the king. You'll become the ruling party. Therefore, arise. Arise means what? We have to rise above our likes and dislikes. The biggest challenge we have is this. In fact, conquering the likes and dislikes is the biggest challenge. You are the greatest, warrior or a brave fellow if you conquer your likes and dislikes. That's why in Hindi they say, दूसरों को जय से पहले खुद को जय करे. Before conquering the others, first win over yourself. Win over your own mind. Very difficult. Very difficult. All of us given to our likes and dislikes, our comforts. A human being has the capacity to rise above the likes and dislikes. And when we don't rise above the likes and dislikes, that is when we get caught in samsara. That is when we get caught in bondage. That is the root cause of all our agitations, because our actions are driven purely by likes and dislikes. I do what I like, I don't do what I don't like. See, which battle did Vardhamanji go for and conquer the enemies? But he's called as Mahavir. Vardhamanji is called as Mahavir. Did he go on battle of Panipat? He didn't go to any battle and conquer anybody. But he's called as Mahavir. Why? He's conquered the inner temptations. He's conquered the impulses of his own mind. He is the boss of his own likes and dislikes. Isn't it? That is very difficult. Try. Somewhere down the line, we'll give in to our likes and dislikes. Our attachments, our emotions, our sense temptations. We give in to all this. So therefore, he says, arise, O Kaunteya, O Kunti Putra. Arise from all these attachments. You are a leader. You can't fall to this level. Supposing you are the captain, you should have the capacity to rise above the attachment. Then only you inspire the team. When Mark Taylor was the captain of Australia, in one of the matches, I think he scored some 334 or something. I don't remember. I don't remember the exact score, but he was around 330. Few more runs, he would have gone beyond boycott. Not boycott, sorry. What's his name? I'm forgetting his name. 374 or 75 was Brian Lara's record. Bradman, I think 334 or 340 something. He would have gone beyond that. Few more runs. And 374 or 75 was Brian Lara's record that time. He would have gone beyond that also. But he didn't work, he didn't play. He was the captain. He would have continued. But he said, no. If I continue, then the chances of my team winning is less because there will be very less overs to get them out, the opposition out. So he said, nothing doing, we'll call off now. That's it. Declared. They declared. He declared. You have to rise above your personal records, attachments. Then people will look up to you. You understand? Then only people will look up to you. It's not that you should do that for people to look up to you. When you are able to do that, then only you are living like a human being. The biggest challenge is our own likes and dislikes. Our own likes and dislikes. Not easy. And we bring up our children also like that. You like it, do it. You don't like it, don't do it. As if the whole world is created only to cater to my likes and dislikes. And if you are full of likes and dislikes, what will happen? It will never be that all your likes and dislikes will be fulfilled. Therefore, you will be constantly agitated, constantly. That's why how much ever you get in life, since you are a person who gives into your likes and dislikes, you'll be very dissatisfied, disgruntled fellow, agitated person. You will not enjoy anything in life. That's because you are not able to rise above your own likes and dislikes, your own attachments. So, therefore, Sri Krishna is telling Arjuna, rise above your attachments. Your own skill, your own experience will not come handy. What a great warrior and what a great personality Arjuna was. But what happened to him? Sitting and crying, I will not fight. My Gandhi was slipping out of my hands because he's stressed. Why such a fall? Because you have given to your attachment. So you should understand, when you go to a battle, when you go to the war, either you win or you lose. So obviously when you fight, you will plan strategy, everything to win. But if you're attached to winning, you will lose. Isn't it? Yesterday I was seeing this Olympics archery. It's it's incredible when you see those competitions. When two teams or two individuals competing against each other, they first shoot and the other fellow shoots like that. If you actually notice the competition, if you analyze, is there a competition going between the two of them? This person has to shoot the target, the other person has to shoot the target. Isn't it? Maximum you get is 10, 9, 8, like that, they have scores. Now, the fellow has hit, the one fellow has shot the arrow, it is hit 10. Now, this goes into the other fellow's head. Arey yaar, he is hit 10. Now, I come under pressure, I have to hit 10. Now, why do I care how much he hit? I have to focus and every time I should aim for 10. It really doesn't matter whether that fellow hit 10 or not. Honestly speaking, our life is like that. We come alone, we go alone. It appears as if we are all fighting with each other, competing with each other, not fighting, competing with each other. Nobody is competing with anybody. I come alone, I go alone, I live my life, you live your life. But then, you say, hey, we both went to the same school, we went to the same college, same course we studied, almost same marks we got, but that fellow is settled very well in life, I am not so settled. This is what we are doing. Why do you have to come under pressure? Let him hit 10. You don't look at that fellow's score at all. Your target, you have your goal, you focus on that. Same thing happens in golf, isn't it? 4 fellows tee off together. And then each one has to play their shots. If it's 5 par, as much as possible, either 5 or less than 5, you hit the ball into the hole. If it's 4 par, less than 4, you try. If it's 3 par, again, less than 3 or 3. The lesser, you are the winner. That's how the score goes in golf. But what do? We compare with that fellow. Oh, you have a goal, you have to put the ball into the hole, you be focused on that. You have a life, you set a direction and follow. No? We won't do that. We just cannot do because our mind is something that is extroverted. It will say, oh, that fellow is doing this. I should also be known like that. See how great he is, how small he is. Why you want to compare? Rise above all this stupidity. That's what he says. When he says rise, arise. What is this arising? Arising from what? All this nonsense. Isn't it? So, winning or losing, both ways you are going to gain if you act in the direction of your goal. What happens there is you might have lost the match, but you would have won a lot of people's heart. That's what happened when France played against Argentina in World Cup soccer finals. Isn't it? France won the match. Sorry, Argentina won the match in tiebreaker. Messi played brilliantly, but in France, Mbappe, their captain, played excellent. He played. Everybody was talking about Mbappe after the match, though Argentina won the match. But to rise above your discomforts, rise above your likes and dislikes, rise above your attachments, rise above your selfishness. Work for a common cause, work for a certain goal. All the time thinking, what is in it for me? What is in it for me? Me. Mujhe kya hoga? So therefore he says, just don't worry about your this thing. Rise. Either slave, you will be getting the heaven. You lose, you will be, if you lose, you will go to heaven. If you win, you will become the king. Every way you are winning. This is what he's trying to say. Very, very important shlokas, this 37 and 38 also. Therefore, arise, O Kaunteya. Very interestingly, Shri Krishna chooses to call Arjuna as Kaunteya, Kunti Putra. We are all attached to our parents, our children, our siblings, who all have come from the same body connection. We don't rise above the family. Therefore, he says, you must rise above this Kunti Putra, this thing, man. Wake up. Next to shloka is a very, very important shloka.
Sukha dukhe same kritva labhalabhau jaya jayau tato yuddhaya yujyasva naivam papamavapsyasi.
Sukha dukkha same kritva labhalabhau jaya jayau. Sukha dukkha means what? Pleasure and pain. Labha alabha means profit and loss. Jaya ajaya means victory and defeat. All the pairs of opposites at the physical level, emotional level, intellectual level. You must rise above, treating alike pleasure and pain, gain and loss, victory and defeat. Then get ready for the battle. Thus you will not incur sin. Before you get ready for the battle, outside battle, you must conquer your inside. That's what the most important thing is saying. Before you conquer the outside battle, you should conquer the inside. Sukha dukkhe same kritva labha labhau jaya jayau. All the time, you're counting about your labha, your alabha. All the time. So he says, no, you rise above that, reach a goal. See, if the focus is on the goal, your mind will not shift to this profit loss. All that you, in the beginning itself, you plan, isn't it? You starting a business. Obviously, you'll start the business for profit only. Will you start for losing? No, you have planned all that. But now, when you're plunging to do the action, you forget about all this. You rise above that. Your focus should be in just executing the actions. That's all. Not bothered about winning or losing. Now, when you function like this, you are a winner whether you win or lose. You're not functioning like this. You are a loser even if you win because you're terrified, you're attached. Oh, will I retain? I'm the defending champion. Will I retain? Will I retain it? The thought will be there. You're all the time afraid. Loser you are. So therefore, Sri Krishna says, treat alike pleasure and pain. How can you treat alike pleasure and pain? When you rise above the body, you will treat alike pleasure and pain. How will you treat victory and defeat alike, same? When you focus on the duty. I am playing because I love to play. I love to play this game. Today, there's a semi-final match in badminton between Lakshya Sen and Victor Axelsen. Both of them are great players. Axelsen is a world champion. Lakshya Sen should just play without any tension. Yes, I've done my bit. I've done my preparation. I've come up to semi-finals, which is a great achievement in the Olympics. I have to just play my game. If he understands that and plays, he has the skill, ability, he can defeat him. It's not impossible. But first he has to conquer his temptation to win. You understand? That's what? Goal, just focus and play. So, therefore, he says, then get ready for battle. Before you get out to fight, the enemy is outside. First, fight the enemy within. That is more important. You got to rise above. If you are focusing on the goal, which is beyond your selfish, self-centered interest, guided by your buddhi, intellect, then your mind will not be able to go into these pairs of opposites. But if your intellect is weak, it has not pitched up any goal, the very reason you are going to do this, you're going to play the game or fight the battle is to win or lose, then you're terrified. You're constantly thinking, I must win, I must win, I must win, I must win. Means what? You're attached. To that extent, you won't be able to perform properly. So first you have to rise above your temptations, your victory and defeat. How will you rise? Rising means what? Pitching up a goal. Giving a direction to your nature, desires. Set a goal. Work for the goal. Prepare yourself thoroughly for that. Then it doesn't really matter. Just go about, doing your bit. That's what he's saying. Sukha dukkhe same kritva labha labhau jaya jayau. Tato yuddhaya yujyasva naivam papama vapsya. See, if you function like that, then you will not incur sin. Then you will not incur agitations. Then you will not incur vasanas. Then you will not increase your desires because you are not constantly thinking about the object of your desire. You've risen above it. You're thinking about the goal. Therefore, you won't increase your desires. You won't increase your vasanas. You're not acting on desires. Therefore, you're not worried if my desire will be fulfilled or not. Therefore, there is no agitation whatsoever. We'll take it up in detail next week again. We'll conclude the class now. Om. पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः